Hey guys, what I have here is a Honda Genesis 2.0 T motor. Came from a guy that follows me on Instagram. His little name thing will be right here. So I don't know much back history on this motor besides that he knows it has low compression. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a ground test. We're going to do a compression test here on the ground because the starter, the way this is set up, you can still bolt the starter down and get a good test on the ground before we put it up on the engine stand and do a full tear down, so we know what we're kind of looking at and the pre-symptoms of this motor, the precondition, and then we can have a little bit more of an idea what's going on with it and not really running into it blind. We know where to look for problems. So first off, what I need to do before I put it on the stand is do that compression test, and I'm going to do that now and show you how to do it. Alright, so before I can do the compression test, I have to bolt the starter back down. And just by looking at it real quick, Honda's design sucks. Like, you gotta remove, it looks like, yeah. You're gonna have to remove the motor mount to ever get your starter out to replace it. I haven't worked on one yet, so that's kind of a shitty design. But anyways, back to work. What we're going to do is bolt this starter into place. I just grab some bolts out of the spare junk bolt bin. Alright, now that that's tightened up, I can remove my coils. But first I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. My battery charger is off. But in order to do this, we're going to hook the negative to the block, wherever. We're going to hook the positive to the positive bolt on that bad boy right there. And then when I'm ready to turn it over, I just turn my jump box on. I already have a pigtail made here, so as soon as I arc that to positive there, it should kick over the motor. But first I have to pull out the plugs and the coils and see the condition of those guys and get the compression tester hooked up. So we got 4 10mm bolts that we need to pull out, and we can pull out the coils. Now we can pull out our coils. And since we're going to put the bolts right back, so then you don't lose any of these while the motor's sitting apart and the machine work is being done. And so far, it doesn't look like it has any oil leaks on the valve cover, or the tube seals for the valve cover. That one's got a little bit of oil on it. Okay, we got all 4 coils out. Next we can get the plugs. Real black on 1, real black on 2. Real black on 3. Running real rich. Rich are burning a bunch of oil. Alright, so next adding a compression tester, and we can compression test this motor. Alright, so as I said before, we're just going to hook the starter up to the battery charger, and then I got that pigtail wire to jump to the positive power to get this thing to turn over. So we're going to test spark plug, or cylinder number 1 right now. I think we need a little bit more power. Kick her up a notch. Alright, here we go. So, 120, or it's about 115. 115 on 1. We're going to do the same thing down the whole line. Same thing again. About 145 on hole 2. 140 on hole 3. Last cylinder. That one's 130. So we have a variance from 115 to 145. So 115 to 145. We have 21% variance, and that's way out of spec. So we know we have a problem on cylinder 1, it being low. I'm just gonna go back through and verify one more time, do one more test, just to make sure that cylinder 1 is low, 3 is low. They're all not where they should be, but you know, our main thing is 1. So we're gonna tear down this motor after I do the second compression test, just to verify. And we're gonna start from the top to the bottom. So again, just to show you guys what I was doing, we have the jump box hooked up to negative for the block, positive on the power, pigtail, and just touch it to the positive. Motor turns over. You can virtually do this on any motor that you're able to bolt the starter up to, either that way, so like RBs, you can do this too. Can't remember if you can do the JZ or not, but anyways, you can ground test a lot of different cars. If you have an old bell housing, old tranny, slap it up in there, slap the starter in there, test it on the ground. It's a good way when you buy a motor to know if it's good or not. Take a battery with you, you can test the motor before you buy it if you're buying it used. So yeah, pretty easy. But anyways, I'm gonna do that second compression test, then we're gonna get down to tearing this thing apart. So stay tuned, guys. Before I put this thing on the stand, I need to hoist it up and take off the flywheel and clutch. So put it on the engine stand. So we're just gonna set up the chain real quick. I have an air-powered Ram to make my life a little bit easier, a little bit faster. Now that I'm at a comfortable working height, I can take out the 6 12mm bolts that are holding the pressure plate and clutch disc on. Got some definite heat wear. A really weird wear pattern on this. It's wearing more on the outside than the inside. Alright, now that my compressor is shut off, I'm going to show you the heat spots that are on here. Bunch of heat spots on that. If you look at the disc here, it's wearing a lot more on the outside right here than it is here. I'm going to show you why, because once I popped this plate off, this is a dual mass flywheel. So it has a piece that rotates. So again, you can see the severe heat spots on that. If you look closer, there's some metal shavings right there. This flywheel is not supposed to do that. It's supposed to rotate back and forth like this because it takes some of the, how do you put it? Makes it feel more luxurious when driving it. It's a smoother clutch engagement. But this one, obviously, flywheel shot. It shouldn't wobble back and forth. Like, it shouldn't be loose. All the metal in there. So, thing needs a new flywheel, that's for sure. Maybe some upgrades. We'll see. We gotta ask the owner. But for now, let's get the rest of these Torx bits. These are all Torx heads. Gotta get 2, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 4, 6, yeah, 7 of them. 7 Torx bits. I gotta figure out what size that is. I don't know off the top of my head because I haven't rebuilt one of these. This is my first time. But it is a combustion engine. and pretty much every engine's the same. If you read the specs and have the manuals and have access to them, you should be able to rebuild anything if you just take your time, look over everything, make sure every measurement's right, double check, triple check. You shouldn't have to worry about putting it back together. So just don't be in a rush when you do it. That's how shit gets messed up. Don't be careless. This is, think of it as a heart to your body. Yeah, you need a good surgeon, It's surgery, that's pretty much what I'm doing here. I'm doing open heart surgery on this bad boy. Not as small and tedious, and you make one slip and the person's dead. A little bit more forgiving than that. But anyways, I'm gonna get this flywheel off, get it on the engine stand, and start tearing this thing down. Alright, so to get these 7 flywheel bolts out, you're gonna need a Torx T60 and a 1/2-inch air impact will make it a lot easier to get them out. Alright, so all those bolts are loose and out. All the way out, hook them out. So we can remove our flywheel now. Set these down. Just gonna wiggle this thing back and forth until it wants to come off. Oh, there it is. Alright, like before, we're gonna put these bolts back until we're ready to go back together. Or in this sense, all this stuff's gonna go to the machine shop. So what we'll do is right before it goes to the machine shop, we'll bag and tag it so you know exactly where it needs to go. Boom. That's done. Now we should be able to hook the engine stand up. 2 bolts are gonna go into the top, and then we're gonna have to have 2 through bolts go on the bottom. So hopefully I have long enough bolts here. Alright, engine stand's on there. Now we can come down with it. No, I didn't do too much on this one so far, but I've already had a full day of work. It's 8:30, I think, p.m. So I'm gonna go home, see my wife kids, and then come hit this again tomorrow. And also gotta go up to Bellingham tomorrow and grab some parts for that GTR from the import guys. And hopefully be firing that sucker up. It's just kind of been a pain in the ass because there hasn't been. I didn't tear it apart, and parts are just everywhere, and but it came to the right place because if I can't figure it out and get it put back together running right, then pretty sure other people are gonna have a real hard time doing it too. So I have faith it's gonna run good. So anyways, good night guys, thank you, and as always, like, comment, and share. We'll get on this in the next few days. Thank you.